Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining me for another conversation on Rising Stories. Each time I interview an entrepreneur, a business owner, or an author, and we talk about what it takes to start a business or how they began writing their book and how they keep their business running. It's my hope that you will be encouraged to overcome the obstacles that you may encounter when trying to start a business, or maybe it will encourage you and help you along the way as you are working each day to build that business that you've always wanted to have. Today, my guest is my friend Sandra. She is the creative director and founder of Will and Ivey. They provide peaceful apparel for fashion-forward consumers. Her children's line is just adorable, and I know you're going to want to go on her website and check it all out. We will have a great conversation. I know that you will hear her and just love her as I do. So grab a tea, a sweet tea like I have in my hand, or a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. Put your feet up or just keep working at your desk, whatever it is you're doing. Thanks again for joining us, and here is my conversation with Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Welcome.
Hi, Corinne. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm so glad you agreed to be on the show. I have been watching a little bit from afar about what you've been doing, and tell me about what's been going on.
Okay. Well, pretty much a lifelong dream is starting to truly happen. When I was 21 years old and at design school, I just began to have a passion to create a line of clothing that had more of a purpose. I really struggled for a while, just how cutthroat the fashion industry can be. And it hit me. I thought, there's got to be more to just creating beautiful things. And how could I pull in a deeper meaning? And I had a real pull on my heart because of my mom's story. My mom was abandoned with her siblings in the streets. Yeah, in the streets of San Francisco. And it hit me that I am here because someone was willing to rescue my mom.
Oh, wow. What a great story.
And it's been a long time coming, but so sweet that here I am, almost 30 years later, getting to create again and create. Right now it's a lifestyle brand of children's clothing. Mm-hmm. And so we've started a children's company called Will and Ivey. And
that's such a cute name. How did you come up with the name?
Well, when I just really believed it was time to jump in again, mm-hmm. I did come here to Nashville about 25 years ago. I had started a children's clothing company and a clothing line in Los Angeles.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So wow. Yes, and so when I got here, I could not find sample makers, pattern makers. I really had a difficult time. And so I hung up all my patterns in a closet.
What does that mean, like sample makers and pattern makers?
Well, so I couldn't find anyone here to work with to further the work that I needed to be done. So to make the patterns, and then once the patterns are made, to get the samples, to move forward. It was really hard for me.
Well, 20 years ago, Nashville was just about country music. Do you remember? So yeah. I forgot to say this, but you and I know each other because our background is we had kids in the same school.
Right.
For a while. And our daughters were very close in age. And then mm-hmm. you have more children than I do, but our sons are a little bit close in age too. So we've kind of gone through the mommy cycle. And now look at us, we're entrepreneurs doing stuff. But so, so when we came to Nashville, we moved here 26 years ago.
Okay, about the same time.
Same time. So there wasn't a whole lot of anything other than country music was around. And now look at it now. It's
booming. Yeah, because the factories had closed down. Everything had gone to China. So, it was difficult. Yes, and now, of course, we are seeing this beautiful birth of fashion and all sorts of things coming into Nashville, which we can talk about. But but back to the name, just so, I don't know. It was an interesting thing that happened because I pulled all my patterns back out and I laid them all over the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an emotional time for me. I had just come off of helping a friend start a denim company that they were wanting to launch and was designing for them. And it got to the point where it was too much for them. They didn't really think they wanted to continue. But was beautiful from that experience, it sparked that love back into my life. And so when they were shutting the door, I thought, well, wow, is this maybe time that I go ahead and relaunch a children's clothing company? I pulled out the patterns and kind of in tears, I wrote my children's names. And my last child is William. And when I wrote the name William on the piece of paper, I wrote William and Ivey just flew out. I mean, it just literally was just followed. And I laughed and I said, who's Ivey? So
that's so cool. Like it was just a divine thing.
It was. And a friend of mine, I shared with her about the name, and she said, did you look up the meaning of the names? And I said, no, I didn't think about that. So long story short, when you put Will and Ivey together, it means strong defender of eternity. And that's the core of my heart. So of course it was a God-given thing. He just downloaded that name. And so we now have Will and Ivey, and it's just been such a joy, Corinne. I can't even tell you how fun this has been.
How neat. Now, so I went on your website and I love all the pictures of sweet children and just captivating, and also reading about your design and your designs and stuff. And you said that it was kind of birthed because when you were looking for clothes for your kids, and I found the same problem, especially here in Nashville, like you were talking about, is that everything was either cutesy. There's nothing plain and just, just comfy and, childlike. And so you have kind of created that, but I'm sure you can describe it a lot better than what I just did. But I did go by one of the stores that carries your line and just touched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a baby to buy for now, but right. So but I was looking at it and I was like, oh, this is just beautiful and just very comfy looking, and something that I totally would have put on my kids, because I like you was like, there are too many bells and whistles for for this tiny baby.
Yes. And the marketing officer that's working with me now, which is a huge blessing, and we may talk about that, but she came up with this darling phrase, the morning elixir, or the elixir for your morning. When a mommy is in a rush, in a hurry, or the caretaker, and, it's just hard, like you were saying, when there's so many snaps or there's so many things. And my desire, I've always loved very minimalist lines. I like looking at the face of a person, and I like that to be what you see. And so not only is the fabric so important, but I love the simple lines, and then the simplicity of just getting it on that squirmy child.
Right.
So there's a lot of fun combinations to it, but minimalist is one of my favorite words that I think we probably use often, throughout the
I like that, and like I said, that's probably, if I could have, that would have been my, way of dressing my kids, but there was very limited stuff. And and of course, we're both married to people who used to be in the music business, probably. More so we had that connection too. But I want to hear about how you were a designer at the Beverly Hills Polo Club. How exciting was that? Tell me more about that.
That was California. Very exciting. Yes. So after going to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, that's in Los Angeles, they have different campuses, but went through a kind of a journey of working in graphics, so graphic arts. Did a lot. I don't know if you remember back in the 80s, the silk screening was huge. And so you would go to the Express or Eddie Bauer, and we were creating all of the artwork for the silk screening, and that thick, I don't know if you remember the thick ink that they would put, the puffed ink and all that crazy stuff.
Yes.
So anyway, I started out a lot in graphics, and back then, so this ages me, but we were doing it all by hand.
Oh,
So
wow.
no
So there were no computers. Yeah.
and then that journey just slowly took me to, let's see, I remember seeing online Beverly Hills Polo Club needed a designer to come in. They were shifting. There was a lot of movement going on with presidents that were there at the company. So I came in kind of as a part-time designer doing some concept boards for them. And quickly, it just moved right into placing me as the head designer. And then I had a team with me. I had a team of artists that did the graphic arts. I had pattern makers, sample sewers. It was pretty much the dreamiest job I could have ever imagined. And, I never got a chance to go overseas. And we were just transitioning to moving the offices to San Diego. And they had asked me to continue on as the head designer with a very nice pay raise. And I was going to have to take the train from Long Beach down to San Diego. And my husband we all got the call to move to Nashville.
Oh, wow.
So I did. And during that time, like I said, I'd had my son. So I was able to go to work with Hunter. And he would either bounce in one of those bouncy chairs in my door, or we had this darling young gal that would come and she would take care of him while I was there. And then they let me do a lot of work at home. But that was when I was designing, and that's when I did start designing the children's clothing line on the side. But I had to say goodbye to quite an impressive position and a great company, and follow my husband to Nashville.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
yeah.
And that was about same time that I got here, about 20-something years ago.
Yeah, 24 years ago. So.
Wow. So when you came here, did you just kind of go into full mommy mode and just kind of left that behind, but you still had that in your heart to do some children's clothing?
What was interesting was we were struggling artists. My husband was a struggling, performer in a Christian rock group. And there weren't a lot of shows at first. It was a strange period of time. And I had the privilege, really, of meeting Trisha Yearwood's wardrobe stylist. And I know that was a God moment for me because I met her, and it turned out she needed a designer to design an outfit for Trisha Yearwood for the Grammys.
Oh,
and
wow.
So because of my experience with Beverly Hills Polo Club, I was able to do a whole array of designs and presentation boards for her. And they chose an outfit, and we had it made, and she wore it to the Grammys, and that paid for our rent that month.
Oh, wow. Isn't that something? That's so cool.
And so slowly but surely, as I was here, through a mutual friend, Joan.
Yes, yeah.
Joan was a stylist and working with the 700 Club and different artists. And when she moved to Texas, we talked, and she actually passed the torch to me. And I
remember that.
Yeah. And again, that was a God moment, and I was able to just fall right into becoming a wardrobe stylist here in Nashville. So that kept me plugged in.
Yeah, definitely. And at that time, our kids were a little bit older.
A little bit older.
So that came at a really good time. And, I think that people, I know I meet a lot of entrepreneurs and moms and empty nesters, and then some moms that are in that baby mode, staying at home, and they're like, what will I do when I'm done? And it's like the Lord just, puts it all together, and things just fall into place.
Yes.
For you without you even thinking about it. I mean, it's already planned. And I'm just a firm believer that you open the door and you ask for something to be done like that, and, to find what you need when you need it, and it will happen. And I see that time and time again, just how great it just works out that you'll have something to do. So that was neat that you could get into that with, so the 700 Club. So what did you do for the 700 Club? You styled?
Well, they had several TV shows. One of them was called One Cube, and it was with a younger generation. They were airing all of the contemporary Christian music, but it was all over the world. It was international. So they had different hosts, some that were French speaking, Spanish speaking. We had some from Russia, all over. So I was in charge of dressing each host for their particular shows according to their country. And that was really fascinating and a lot of fun. And then they had, other shows for the 700 Club that, again, it was a lot of international hosts that came in. And so, again, I'd wardrobe the team. There'd be a man and a woman, and we would be in charge of styling them and buying their clothes and all their jewelry and accessories, everything for TV. And then slowly, I think some bands started coming in, and then the word of mouth. I really never did a lot of promoting. I didn't, because like you said, I was raising 4 children and homeschooling them at first, which was really fun because they would come on some of the jobs with me.
That's neat. Yeah.
That was really fun. And
field trip, time for a field.
Yeah.
Field trip guys.
Exactly. Boy, you learn a lot. So anyway, then by word of mouth, I began to style just different artists, and moved kind of into country a little bit, and helped a consulting company. And so that really opened the doors for that. But, I didn't promote myself a lot because it was just enough for my creativity and to bring in a little bit of extra income. But at the time, the children were more of the priority,
Yeah.
So it was a nice balance.
That's neat. And so you, how do you work? So now you've got a couple of them still in school.
Yeah.
They're still at home.
Well, I have 2. One that's about to graduate.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then Will is a freshman. So, yeah, he's got 3 more years of high school.
So how do you juggle, because you've got a daughter out of state and Hunter's here, and then how do you juggle with running this company and doing all that you do? And then when do you find time are you constantly doing design work? So that's like 2 or 3 questions. I know I just threw it.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So essentially, as you know, the beauty of when they're in high school, a lot of their hours, they are focused at school. I am very intentional with Carl. We really try and figure out during the week, okay, what is that one night that we do not have anything pulling at us and we can finally sit down and have dinner together?
Is it just you 2 or the family?
Yeah, the 4 of us, because it's so important to grab those moments as much as you can. And it does make me sad that we're not together every night. And sometimes even one's playing baseball, one's now in a musical. The hours are just so hard. So our time is in the morning, and we get up and we actually have breakfast with the boys, and we read together before they run out the door. And that's been huge. And so, that's kind of the boys that are here. And Audrey, what I love about texting, is it's really a great way to just send them a quick, I love you, whatever you read that day. I've found that's because, and even if it's driving them crazy, I'm really not going to worry about it, because I do get little thank yous that come back from Hunter, who's 24, he's an adult, he's out on his own, but you can't stop being a mom. And so I send them quotes that I read, or I don't know. So texting has been really a great way to make sure I'm staying in touch with them, and then grab moments to talk. I just had a great conversation this morning with Hunter. And Hunter's going to be doing a film project for me for Will and Ivey. And so, it's really fun to now all of a sudden I'm working with my son.
Yeah. That's so neat.
Yeah.
And I love that you're being intentional um, with your week, even just
Mhm.
kind of saying, when can we get together? When can we have a dinner together? And then, and the fact that you sort of made a switch to doing a breakfast thing and meeting
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
morning, that's really inspiring for me because we have the same,
Yeah.
issues trying to, everybody's going to different
Mhm.
directions here and there. And we very seldom get together and have dinner together. And of course, now we've got a future son-in-law that's
I
coming into the
know.
picture. And so,
So excited.
making sure, when can he come over? I think once they get married and the wedding thing goes away, kind of, or get settled, we'll have a
Mhm.
little bit more of a routine where they can maybe come over and
Right.
have a regular family time. But
Yeah, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. What is that like now?
I know it's so different. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
so exciting.
mean, this wedding planning is not I will be totally honest, it's not fun at all at first, trying to just get all the logistics because I'm not a big party planner. I mean, I like to throw cocktail parties and,
Mhm.
wine and cheese on my porch, but nothing like,
To
this
this
big
extent.
elaborate thing. And just,
Yeah.
there's so many moving parts and just so much
Right.
stuff going on. But,
Yeah.
we try to, steal some fun moments and, we're always like, okay, this is the last time we're gonna have Adrian and do this kind of family time. And
Right.
but now he's kind of, he's already part of our family, so we just include him anyway.
That's awesome.
And he's a great guy, so that really helps that he's a good dude, and we love him. So,
Yeah.
um, but we just, yeah, we have to be intentional like that too, as just busy, and it's tough to kind of juggle. And I say juggle because everybody uses that word balance. And
Mhm.
there's just, you know, it's like a balancing act because
Mhm.
there's never a real, I believe, a solid, you're never really like balanced. It's
Right.
always something's giving and you just kind of do what you
Mhm.
can when you can.
That's right. And you have no idea what is going to be tossed at you. And yeah, yeah.
hmm So,
Right.
what does it look like a day in the life of Sandra Nay? What do you do? What does it look like? What kind of
Yeah.
stuff do you do during the day?
Okay. Well, like I said, we have our mornings with the boys.
Mhm.
And then when the boys leave, Carl and I grab our coffee and we both have a book that we're reading. So we will sit down and read. Sometimes we'll interject and say, wait, can I read something to you? So, lately we've been doing that and, we try as often as we can, to kind of really pray before he runs out the door. Um, and some mornings, obviously, like you said, I mean, may not go that smoothly, or he may have to run up earlier than not. Um, and I'm trying to get back into exercising. I'm trying to be good. We'll go on a walk if we have time. We grab that time and we'll go if it's not too cold. We're wimps.
I
We're
am
real wimps.
too.
Yeah. So that's always hard. And then a lot of times I'll do the stairs, which is hilarious. I will run up and down my stairs. But and then what I do when I put on my workout clothes a lot, just to get me in that mindset. There were days when I did start this company. I would get going, and literally I was in my pajamas until 2.
hmm
And so I quickly, realized I was a lot more just fret. My head seemed clearer when I put on my workout clothes.
hmm
I don't know. That may not be for everyone, but that has helped a lot. And if I know I'm going out, obviously, then the shower's taken right away. But there are times where I get going, and we've got so much going on, that the shower doesn't come till that night.
Yeah.
So to be honest, there are those days. Um, but basically, I check in with my 2 business partners. And so we always touch base and we kind of go over our day, or just a quick, hey, we'll chat. We've got this and this going. um, and right now we are in the midst of finishing some spring and summer pieces that we will have available for immediate purchase this very spring. A lot of times, obviously we design a whole year in advance. So we launched with our Essentials line, which we introduced, and it's a little bit, tiny bit heavier cotton. The jersey is a little bit heavier than a very thin, hot summer cotton that you would wear. The beauty, though, of the weight is it can be year-round in certain states. And even here, I mean, in the air-conditioned house, the Euro joggers are cozy, and the bamboo is such a beautiful, drapey, lightweight that the bamboo sweatshirt can even be worn like right now in the spring. But I've been working on these summer pieces just to kind of squeeze them in before we dive headstrong into spring of 2017.
Okay. So you said you're working ahead of a whole year.
So we'll be showing pieces the end of July and the 1st of August. We'll be showing all of our samples for spring of 2017. So we're hoping to be able to be a part of a trade show in New York this year. And so I'm halfway. I've already got samples being made for that. And then I'm going to have probably about 4 more styles for that. The patterns, all but one, are done already. So I did find a wonderful pattern maker here in town, thanks to the internet. I mean, I did a lot.
Really? Yeah.
I searched and found her about 2 years ago now. It's been right at the beginning. So she makes
so you have the idea and you sketch it out, and then you give it to a pattern maker.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then from the pattern maker, does she make a sample as well?
She does. Yes. So she has a team of seamstresses, and they'll make the first prototype, the first sample. And sometimes there's adjustments. We have to adjust it to the fit. But once all of that is done, then she will grade the pattern, which means normally we make a medium, which is our 12 to 24 month size. And then she will grade it down to the 6 to 12 month and up to the 24 to 36 month. Some of our patterns, I'm already having them graded all the way up to a 6-year-old, so 6 toddler. And I am finding right now I really would like to go down to a 3-month-old. Mm-hmm. But because we're new and because finances are tight and we don't have an investor right now, mm-hmm. I had to kind of pick the sweet little spot and focus on those 3 sizes for right now. But I have kind of graded up because our longing is to continue to grow this brand, maybe even get it up to 12-year-olds. And then I already have moms that are saying, when can I have that sweatshirt, or when can I have those, Euro joggers? And that was really my desire, was that it would become a household name, that everyone would love to grab their Will and Ivey, and it would be their favorite pieces. So that's really the goal. So that's kind of the process. And then we, to get the clothing manufactured, we found a manufacturer here in Tennessee, again, from the internet. This was back when I was designing for Southern Blues and their denim. All my mind was around denim, and found an article and found this gentleman who was making denim here in Tennessee. And I went and talked to the gentleman, and they are the most beautiful people that are taking care of us and manufacturing our product. So,
wow. And so where do you find your fabrics?
And the fabric is all about sourcing. We did go to a trade show. Mm-hmm. So we went to Florida, and through that, which was lovely because it's specialized for small businesses, which means that they're willing to sell me a small quantity of fabric. A lot of fabric manufacturers, their minimum is, 1,000 yards. And
Wow. Yeah. You don't
I,
think about that, but
yeah,
that's true if
buy
they
more.
sell to bigger companies and
Right, right.
hmm
And so I'm able to order, 200 yards, and
hmm
I don't even have to order that much. And their prices are really good. And that's still a journey for me because I'm still trying to find more and more. I don't want all my eggs in one basket, if you will. I'm so thankful for who I found, and it's really important to me that it's organic. There's some new products out there made from different plants, bamboo and that sort of thing, called tencel and modal, which is great because the process they're using, it doesn't use as much water, so it's very eco-friendly. Um, and I'm finding that a lot of this next generation, we all are starting to really worry about that and take better care of our planet, if you will,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
I found a company that recycles, and they make this beautiful cotton out of recycled plastics. And you wouldn't think that it would be nice. It sounds funny, but they were able to find a process that it's safe and it's really beautiful. The hand of the fabric is soft. And so I'm kind of looking into that and reading up about that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you talked about having a team and you have like a couple of people with you. Tell me about who they are. That's so
Yeah,
exciting that you've got some people that are doing things because you are the creative
that's right.
in the bunch, and so you've got people doing um, other things for you.
Right.
Tell me who they are and how you found them.
And that is another God story, which is awesome. I'll tell you the biggest thing that I've learned through this, starting this company, is it's beautiful and it's been freeing for me to say, these are my weaknesses and these are my strengths. And in my weakness, allowing someone else to take the reins
Hmm
and trusting them enough to run with it. The girls are so supportive and they check in with me, and of course, they want my check off. They want my final say. But oh my word, Corrine, it's the biggest blessing. So Holly McAfee, her husband Keith, and I met as I was working with a nonprofit called Life Song. And we kind of got to know each other. And Keith's brother is let's see, I believe he still works. He's a missionary in the Ivory Coast, where I had gone years ago to help with some orphans there. Um, and we ended up meeting for dinner one night. They were in town. I'd never really met Holly before. And we immediately hit it off. And I shared with them the story about wanting to start this clothing company. And she just laughed and she said she may be leaving her current job and that she had a degree in business marketing. Like, this is her
No
strength.
way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she went on and on and on about she has, built their website. She did all of their administrative work. I mean, everything that was coming out of her mouth were all of my weaknesses.
And exactly what you needed. Everything you needed.
Exactly what I needed. And the more we began to talk, the more they got so excited about Will and Ivey that one day they called and they said, "Hey, what would y'all think about us investing, giving you some startup money? And we really feel like we should be helping you for nothing. They don't want any money back.
What?
They don't want to be paid.
Wow.
They just saw the vision and wanted to lock arms with us. And so that's how Will and Ivey started, really, really started becoming a true business in motion. I had been working on it for probably a good year prior to that, just building the name and what I wanted to make and meeting people. But when that happened, we matched what they put in, which wasn't a lot, but we both put in some that got to the point where we could buy some fabric, get the
hmm
patterns made, and hence this is where we are. Boom. So
Wow.
Holly McAfee's amazing. So she's my chief marketing officer. And then another fun story, we received an email from a gal. Her name is Stephanie Smith, and she was moving here from Los Angeles, leaving her dream job, working in the fashion industry. And she just reached out to us and said, a mutual friend told me to reach out to you. I'm moving to the area. Do you need anybody? Well, Holly and I were just talking about how we needed one more person, somebody just sort of that would lock us together. Well, sure enough, Stephanie is only 24, and that girl rocks in the social media.
That's
And
awesome.
so she is filling the gap, and basically has the title of Director of Marketing and Sales.
Mm-hmm.
And she now handles all of our Instagram, our Pinterest, our Facebook. She puts together flyers. She is tag teaming with Holly now and reaching out to stores, doing all the sales. And she's just lovely. So I have an incredible team around me. And then I'm fortunate enough to have Carl, who's my husband, who is a financial business manager and handles all of the dollars. He does all of the numbers for us.
Yes.
So we've got.
So does he do your taxes and all that? He's yeah.
Yes,
Mine too.
Yeah, it takes care of it all.
Although
And
I have to report and do stuff. Like I have to give him, like he's like, right now I'm in that mode. Like I'm gathering all my stuff and what I've spent and but Michael's my Carl. He does
that's right.
stuff.
I know we're so fortunate. And I mean, there's no way I could do it because like you said, I am the creative, and I will admit that forever that I am an artist. So that says a lot because math and all that's probably not one of my strengths.
Mine neither. And it's always good, when I talk to people, it's always good to, come to grips with the fact that, like you were saying earlier, you have certain strengths and, God-given strengths and talents. And there are some things that you shouldn't do or that you are not as good at. And so, coming to the realization of that and embracing that is key to a lot of people's frustrations when they either first start a business or are looking for something different, to just say, okay, I get it. These are my skills. These are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. So what can I do? How can I outsource that?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's been very freeing. And Holly introduced a book to us that we're reading called Make It Happen by Laura Casey, Casey. And really, the core of it is replacing perfectionism with purpose. And one of the things that she says in the book is, it's funny, it's a cute little phrase, failure is fertilizer, which I laughed at. But that's been my process through all of this, is not to be afraid to fail.
Right.
And to admit or even just to jump in and go ahead and if I feel led to do something, that I do it. And then of course it is a learning process. So it's been, again, very freeing to just, I don't know, be able to say, yep, that's not my strength. Hey, what do you guys think? How would you handle this kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to ask you what you were reading, and then also, so I'll put that down. So that's what you're reading. It's called Make It Happen.
Yeah. I can show you the front of it. Although the listeners can't
Make It Happen. Surrender your fear. Take the leap. Live on purpose. Laura Casey. Okay, good. I will put that on my list. I have not seen that one, but it looks very pretty too. It's a pretty cover.
It's quite a story. So yeah.
What is the best advice that you either have gotten or have heard that has helped your business, or just what's the best advice that you could give someone starting out?
Yeah, I think what I've just talked about is a big part of it. The other thing is keeping the main thing the main thing. My brain as a creator, I'm I'm designing all sorts of stuff, but boy, my brain can go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to bring it back in. And it is important to think larger than life, and then work backwards. But right now, we've got to focus in on our key pieces and sell what we're making,
Mm-hmm.
and try not to get ahead of myself. And so just building that foundation, that Will and Ivey, this is a company about your favorite grab and go pieces. And the purpose of this company is to bring hope back to children that have been orphaned or in the foster care system. That's the core of why I even wanted to start this. And so one of the other books that Carl introduced me to is called Traction. Our good friend John Farkas has a company called Golden Spiral. And he really
Traction by Gino Wickman. Okay.
He really recommended it. And one of the things that it talks about, of course, and many people hear this, but what is your core value? What's the core value of your company? And there's more than just you. So now with Holly and with Stephanie, that we really talk about what is the value of this company, maybe the heartbeat. And what it does is it gives us a point place to always go back to. So if we feel like we're slipping, or things aren't going well, or we have tension, we just kind of pause and go back. Wait a minute. Are we slipping away from our core value? One of the main core values that I shared with the girls is that I've always wanted to be a company that is all about loving well. Whoever comes across our path, that how are we speaking to them? How do we treat them? That when they leave, they feel encouraged, they feel loved. Professionalism is very important, and you need to be professional, but you don't have to do it in an ugly manner. And that this is something that I experienced back in my days when I was a designer at Beverly Hills Polo Club. And all of my team would make comments to me over and over again, Sandra, we're going to work extra hours tonight because of the way you treat us. We are so thankful to work for you. That has never left me. These people would stay until the wee hours of the morning sometimes when we were trying to get lines out. And those were their words. So, the core value of how your company runs, and one of the things I talk about is that there should also be a lot of laughter. We need to got to have fun, got to be, lighten up a little bit. But so anyway, so that's important is the core value, and I think that's really, those are the main thing. Keep the main thing. Don't be afraid to fail, and make sure that you guys talk about having a core value in the book. Make It Happen. She talks about having your one word. So each year you start over. And what is going to be your one word as a team for that year? And so because we started out, grace has been our just go-to word. The girls are coming. We're meeting together tomorrow, actually, and we are really finalizing all of that actually tomorrow. Just making sure that we're all on the same page with our one word.
Right.
Yeah.
Do y'all have team meetings weekly, or you kind of check in, like you said, daily with them?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a favorite app or a favorite business tool that you just love?
Well, what's funny is that would be a good question for Holly.
Okay, for you, maybe it's just the phone. Like I was thinking about this for myself, and I thought, what's my most favorite app? And I was like, well, I love all the apps, but my number one favorite device has been my iPhone. Yeah. And I recently upgraded to a 6, which is not like the top of the line, but I use it all the time because, I love, I'm on the go mom, and always doing stuff here and there. So I'm always looking online and checking my email and
Well, that's
responding.
exactly it.
And
Yeah.
then, throw in a wedding that I'm planning. So all that together, I've got to, calling back the DJ and doing
Right.
all that fun stuff. So Sandra, what are some 3 things that you're just loving these
That,
days?
well, I have to admit, Instagram is an addiction.
Yeah.
Uh, but we're able to tap into the world unlike we ever have, of course. I mean, obviously, but it's just so fun. The crazy thing is that when I come up with an idea and I think it's so cool and different, and then you do go on Instagram and someone's done something very similar, that battle of right there, what am I going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to get discouraged, or is it going to encourage me that, hey, I'm on to something?
Mm-hmm.
So in the past, I let it paralyze me. But now, with where I am and with these girls, with the encouragement and where we're going, I'm leaning now more towards I must be onto something right. And so that's one of my favorite things, I admit. Well, let's see. Another favorite thing is Indian food. I crave
Love.
Indian food every week, and I found this restaurant. They laugh at me. I probably come in twice a week, but anyway, it's just fun. So yeah, I love them. In
Well,
fact, I think I'm going to have a party and have them.
and well, you're not going to believe this, but here was my thing when I first started this podcast. I was like, here is what I'm going to ask if there's ever a guest on that is in the Nashville area.
Uh-huh.
One other question I'm going to definitely ask them is what was their last restaurant or what's their favorite restaurant in Nashville? Because I love trying new restaurants, and there's one popping up every day in
Oh,
Nashville
I
these
know.
days.
I know. Well, have you been to Fifth and Taylor?
No,
That's a beautiful restaurant.
Fifth and
Um,
Taylor. I'm gonna write that down.
he came from, the only reason why I know is because we went to his restaurant in Chattanooga, which is where Holly lives, Holly
Mm-hmm.
Murphy. Um, and now I'm going to say their name wrong. It's like Alicia or something. But then he came to Nashville, to Germantown, and opened Fifth and Taylor. So really fun, interesting combinations. And yeah, go
Yeah.
try it.
So,
Go
what's
try
your
it.
Indian restaurant that you like?
It's got a long name. It's Bowarchi Birani Point. It's on Baker's Bridge Road in Cool Springs, and it is a small
Mm.
place across from the Mercedes dealership on Baker's Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
Good food.
that, oh my word, the best. And the restaurant's packed every lunch.
Do they have a lunch buffet? Because that's my thing. Like,
No, they
oh,
don't
they
have a lunch.
don't.
No, but one day I'm sure they'll have to expand because
Wow.
they're so so good. But I get their chicken tikka masala and I crave it every day.
We just had tiki masala last night, and my kids they're like Indian food again. I'm like, oh, I love it. I could eat it all the time.
Yes.
Um, so Instagram, Indian food. What's your third one? I'm right
Oh,
there with
and
you.
what was it? I'm answering what I like.
Mm-hmm. What are your favorite things? What are like it could be a candle, it could be like I'm into this one candle. I think it's called like beach boho or
Oh,
something.
how cute. Yes, I did have a candle and I can't remember. It was at Christmas. And but anyway, well, I have to say I am very excited about my new bicycle that I got for my birthday.
Oh, neat.
It's one of those darling, oh, it's kind of that soft, pale seafoam green,
Hmm.
kind of that soft. And ones you see people riding down at Rosemary Beach.
So
Just the,
it's like a cruiser, like one of those
it
like
is. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's a
with
cruiser.
the basket. Do you have the basket
Well,
yet?
I want the basket. I was going to ask her for Christmas, and I thought, I don't need it. And then I realized, no, I do need that. I can put lunch and ride to the bar. Because Smith Park just opened up close by. So
So you can ride to a park. That's
I can
awesome.
ride to a park. And so here I am, again, trying to get some exercise in. And so when the weather gets warm, I'm looking forward to getting it
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
It's too windy today in Nashville. Don't ride. It's crazy
No,
cold out there, actually.
I
But
know.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm trying to get some workout in, and I used to run
Good for
years
you.
ago, and so now I'm trying to get back into it, and very
Yeah.
slowly. But I
Yeah.
wish I live on hills, so I wish that I could. get a bike and, I would probably kill myself just trying to get it down my driveway. So, but that's really cool.
That's good. That's good for walking. I heard hills are really important for the pounding, especially
Yes.
at older ages, just keeping, the calcium going or something.
Mm-hmm.
But and I tried bar. So my business partner, the young one, she's trying to get me into bar. So
I've heard of that, but I've not ever done that. That sounds like is it like a ballet bar?
It's ballet bar, but they do everything. So they do weights and they have you on the ground and you're doing crunches and things like that. And so it's a combination. And then you use the bar to stabilize yourself for legs and So we'll see, hopefully.
Well, thanks so much for coming on and talking about Will and Ivey. And we're going to do, I'll share some more about Will and Ivey, like where you can find you guys on Instagram and on Facebook, and your website is willandivey.com. So spelling out willandivey.com, and
Ivey is with an E, so it's Ivey.
Okay, Ivey. And I'll post some stuff and let everyone know how they can find you. And thanks so much.
Well, and we'd love to give a discount to the listeners for the month of April.
Okay.
We would love to have you include that. And so if somebody puts in the code Rising Stories 20,
okay.
If they just put that in, they will receive 20% off of their purchases.
That's awesome. Well, I hope to release this. We're doing it early enough, but I hope to release it in April. And if not, we'll extend it.
You
and
just
we'll
let
them know. Yeah. But
That's
hopefully I'll release it before then and they can have some time. So we'll put a little extender on there if it's not released by a certain time in April, for them to take advantage of it. Because I want them to take advantage
we can
of
stay
that.
for the next 4 weeks. Whenever you release it. That's just fine.
Thanks. And I appreciate it so much.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much, Pam.
I hope you enjoyed listening to my conversation with Sandra. She has offered our listeners a 20% discount at willandivey.com. So go onto our website, willandivey.com, and when you're ready to finish your purchase, you can put in the promo code Rising Stories 20, as in the number 20, and that will give you a 20% discount on your purchases. That offer is good until June 15th, 2016. Also, I want to say thank you to my very first review on iTunes. Tanya Joy says this: I love this podcast. It's like listening in on a phone call with 2 of my friends, my very talented friends. It's inspiring and very hopeful. And these are real people living out their dreams and making it work. Thanks so much, Tanya Joy. I really appreciate you all communicating with me. I just need to know if you're enjoying the podcast. And if you are, go over to iTunes and leave me a message. Thanks so much, and tune in next week for another great interview.